When trying to get pregnant, it is important to know when you are ovulating, because ovulation is the time your body releases an egg from your ovaries, making it available for fertilization by sperm. Also, knowing your safe days is very important, because these are the days that you are allowed to do the needful unprotected. I mean the days that you are allowed to have unprotected sexual intercourse with reduced chances of getting pregnant. Your unsafe days or fertile window is the number of days in your cycle that you are most likely to get pregnant in case you do the needful unprotected. And for you to know your safe days and unsafe days or fertile window, you need to know your cycle length. Your menstrual cycle length is not the number of days that you see your period or the number of days that you see blood. It is not 2 days, it is not 3 days, it is not 4 days or 5 days. Your menstrual cycle length is the number of days from one period to the next period, and it is calculated by counting from the first day of your period to the last day before you see your next period. Let me quickly show you how to do that on the board. Let's assume the first day you see your period, I mean the very first day you see blood, is on 3rd of July. So let's assume this is a July calendar. So 3rd of July will be your day 1. And let's assume you see blood for 3 days. 3rd of July will be your day 1. 4th of July will be your day 2. 5th of July will be your day 3. Then you finished your period. So then let's say the next time you see your period is on 30th of July, which is day 1 of another cycle. To calculate your menstrual cycle length, what you have to do is to count the number of days from the first day of your period to the last day before your next period, which is 29th of July. Remember, you started seeing your period again on the 30th of July. So in this case, you start counting from 3rd of July, which is the first day you see your period, till 29th of July, which is the last day before your next period. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 25, 26, 27. So that means this person has a 27-day cycle. Now a quick tip: every woman's cycle is different. Some people may have 21 days cycle, 22 days, 23 days, 25, 28 days cycle, which is the average, and even 35-day cycle. But regardless of which cycle length you have, it should be within the normal range of 21 days to 35 days. Any cycle length that is less than 21 days or greater than 35 days is abnormal, and in this case I will advise that you see a gynecologist, because there are a number of conditions that could make your cycle length to be less than 21 days or greater than 35 days. So once you've calculated your cycle length and you are sure of your cycle length, the next thing is to know when you are ovulating. Normally, ovulation occurs 14 days before your next period. Take for instance, this woman has a 27-day cycle and her next cycle is on 30th of July. So what you will simply do is to subtract 14 from 27. So with that, you will get your ovulation day. So 27 minus 14, that will give us 13. Am I right? So this means that a woman with 27 days cycle will usually ovulate on day 13, which is 14 days before her next cycle. Going with the example we have on the board, which is 14 days before 30th of July. So you now go back to your calendar and look for day 13 of your menstrual cycle, starting from the first day of your period. So you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So this is day 13 of this woman's menstrual cycle. So this means that this woman's ovulation is on the 15th of July. But because ovulation day can vary, so it is not guaranteed, for instance, that this woman must ovulate or will definitely ovulate on day 13. Remember that we subtracted 14 from 27, which gives us 13. And normally, this woman is supposed to ovulate on day 13 of her cycle, which is 15th of July. So, but because ovulation day is not always precise, so this calculation is not 100% accurate. But what it does is to give us an idea of when you are expected to ovulate. So what you will do now is to go back to your calendar after calculating your ovulation day. Then count 2 days before your ovulation day and 2 days after your ovulation day. For instance, this woman's ovulation is supposed to be on day 13, which is 15th of July. So then you count 2 days before 13. So 2 days before 13 will be 1, 2. So that means you are adding day 11, day 12 of this woman's menstrual cycle. Then you also count 2 days after day 13, which is 1, 2, because these are the days after day 13. So that means you are counting day 14 and day 15. So considering the fact that ovulation day can vary with what we have just done, that means all things being equal, this woman is expected to ovulate either on day 11, day 12, day 13, day 14 or day 15. So these are the periods when this woman's ovary can release an egg for fertilization by sperm, or simply put, these are the periods when she can ovulate. So this means if you do the needful, or let me say if you have unprotected sexual intercourse on each or any of these days, you are most likely to get pregnant. So knowing this is very important for those that are in long distance relationship, so that you can travel with purpose. But there is a key that spoils the mouth of the dog, especially for those that are not interested in getting pregnant, in the sense that you could have had unprotected sexual intercourse prior to these days and still get pregnant. This is not the work of village people. But you know why? Because men's sperm can survive in your uterus or fallopian tube not for 1 day, not for 2 days, but for a period of 3 to 5 days. Which means if you have unprotected sexual intercourse today, your partner's sperm can live rent-free in your body for up to 3 to 5 days looking for an egg to fertilize. That is to tell you how patient men's sperm can be. So please, Amaka, be patient with him. So if you have unprotected sex today and you ovulate 5 days from now, you've just won yourself a chance of getting pregnant, meaning that is your fertile window. So but if you are not interested in getting pregnant, it is better you count 5 days before your earliest expected ovulation period. So in the case of this woman, her earliest expected ovulation day is day 11, because day 11 is the earliest day she's expected to ovulate. So you count 5 days before day 11, because if she has unprotected sex 5 days before day 11, she could still get pregnant. That means she's still in a fertile window. So let's count 5 days before day 11. So that will be 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So our fertile window starts from here, which is 8th of July. So that means if this woman has unprotected sexual intercourse within these days, I mean from 8th of July till 17th of July, she could get pregnant. So these days are referred to as her unsafe period, because if she has unprotected sexual intercourse on any of these days, she could get pregnant. But if she has unprotected sexual intercourse any day apart from these days, her likelihood of getting pregnant is actually low, and those days are said to be your safe period because there is no egg being released. So let's take another example for those that still don't understand. So let's assume you have a 21-day cycle. Let's assume that is your menstrual cycle length, which is 21 days. Your ovulation day will be 21 minus 14. So 21 minus 14 will give us 7. Don't forget, it is not a must that you ovulate on day 7, but what it only means is that it gives you an idea of when you are expected to ovulate. So the next thing is to count 2 days before day 7 and 2 days after day 7. So let's assume the first day this woman sees her period is on 3rd of July, which is at day 1, and we already know that she has a 21-day cycle. So let's count 21 days. So that will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 19, 20, 21, and then she sees her next period on 24, which is day 1 of another cycle. And let's say she menstruates for 5 days. So let's count 5 days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and she finished her period. And we already know that our expected ovulation day is on day 7. So let's go to the calendar and circle day 7. This is day 7, so it falls on the 9th of July. So the next thing is to count 2 days before day 7 and 2 days after day 7. You know, ovulation day is not a precise day, so let's count. That will be 1, 2. Then 2 days after day 7. This is day 7. 2 days after day 7 will be 1, 2. So that means you will be expecting this woman to ovulate either on day 5, day 6, day 7, day 8, or day 9. Then, because sperm can swim for up to 3 to 5 days in a woman's uterus or fallopian tube, count 5 days before your earliest expected ovulation period. So in the case of this woman, her earliest expected ovulation period is day 5, because 5 is the earliest out of all these figures. So we count 5 days before her earliest expected ovulation day. So let's count 5 days before. So that will be, this is day 5. So 5 days before day 5. So that will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what this means is that women with shorter cycle length, like 21 days, 22 days, 23 days, and even 25 days, can get pregnant even if they have unprotected sexual intercourse while menstruating. Let me know in the comment section if you have any questions or need further clarification. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing and following my channel, and it motivates me to create even more valuable content for you. This is Nurse David.